So without further ado, here are 5 things that happened to my body after going vegan. The first thing, which is what a lot of people want to hear about, is weight loss. I did experience weight loss, but not all people like that. There are bodybuilders who get very anxious when they lose a pound. A lot of guys are focused on building body mass. For me, I have always liked lifting weights, even though my body doesn't look like that. At this stage of my life, I actually like being lighter. It's also very good because I practice yoga, and being lighter weight is very helpful when you're getting into certain postures, arm balances, inversions. But the other thing I will mention too with regards to bodybuilding, if that's something that you really love to do, is you may find that your level of aggression in the gym diminishes. That was my experience. Now, the other thing is that even though you notice a decrease in your weight when you weigh yourself on the scale, you may notice that around the waist you might feel like you're a little more bloated, a little fuller around the belly. Don't forget, the amount of fiber and volume of food that you're going to be eating is going to go up, and that's going to mean that your belly is going to be maybe a little distended at times. There's ways to get around that, which I'll mention in a moment. Okay, so weight loss, the first point, is a perfect segue into the second thing that I want to say about what happened to my body when I went vegan after 6 years, and that has to do with fat composition. So I noticed that my fat, the amount of fat on my body, sort of the outer layer of fat, it increased after I went vegan. Now, I never once questioned whether I was healthy or unhealthy. I've learned things that I can do around my diet that actually deal with things like bloating and also dealt with this issue of increased body fat composition. So I don't want to leave you feeling like if you go vegan, you're gonna get all bloated and you're gonna gain a whole bunch of body fat. There are ways to deal with that, which I'll mention shortly, so stay tuned. The third thing I noticed after going vegan was the improvement of my blood pressure. The systolic number dropped, and so did the diastolic number. My upper number went from between 130, 135 down to about 110 to 120. And the diastolic number, the lower number, which usually hovered around 80, dropped to about 65 to 75. And the fourth thing I noticed that happened in my body after going vegan was a drop in my HDL and LDL. You don't want to see your HDL drop necessarily. So this is what I discovered. I did do a lot of digging on this one, and what I found was that it's not so a matter of what your individual levels are for your LDL and your HDL, but more to do with the ratio of the two. I fell within the normal range of those ratios. The fifth thing I'm going to mention is my skin color changed. The palms of my hands became quite orange. I think that happens if you eat carrots or kale or foods like blueberries, beets. If you're going to include those in your diet, it's hard to imagine that's not going to find its way into the pigment of your skin. You'll get that sort of light tan color. And a bonus thing that I want to mention here to tie all this together, because I did allude to the fact that there were solutions to some of these problems I raised earlier. These are some tips that you might want to try. I got to know how many calories are in the foods I was eating. That helped a lot. The other thing that helped with the bloating and the gas was to do something that is a little controversial. It's getting less controversial every day, and it's intermittent fasting. And it's something that I've been doing now for probably close to 3 years. And I would say it saved me from possibly leaving this vegan diet, because the diet has to work for you. If it doesn't work for you, then you're not going to be able to keep it up. You're not going to be able to sustain it. I have found it's worked really well for me, and I'm sure if you want to know more about intermittent fasting, you can discover all kinds of information about it. If you are interested in going vegan, that's a personal choice of yours, and if it works for you, just know this, that every leading health authority around the world says that a vegan diet is both appropriate and healthy at every stage of life. Never question that. So, if you haven't already, start following me today on Instagram and Twitter. The links are down below in the description box. And again, if you haven't subscribed, then what are you waiting for? Press the subscribe button and the little bell icon. And I look forward to seeing you all back here in a few days' time for another super fresh video.